Welcome to this week's Windows Business Weekly. In this episode, I'm going to be talking about July's Patch Tuesday, a new service from Microsoft called Desktop Analytics, and an update to the Windows 10 Your Phone application. All of that is coming up. So let's start off with this month's Patch Tuesday. It's not the most exciting subject, of course, but there are a few things that are worth knowing before you approve those patches to roll out in your environment. Now, this month there are 2 0 days that Microsoft has patched. Only one of them affects Windows 10, and it's an escalation of privilege vulnerability in the SPL WoW 64 executable, and it could allow an attacker, of course, to elevate privileges on an infected system from low integrity to medium integrity. Now, Microsoft has said about this flaw that by itself, it couldn't allow an attacker to run arbitrary code on the system. But if it was used in conjunction with another escalation of privilege, bug, or remote code execution flaw, then an attacker could, in principle, run arbitrary code on the system. While I'm talking about Windows 10, there's also a servicing stack update this month. In fact, it's not just for Windows 10, it's for all supported versions of Windows. And Microsoft recommends that you install it before installing any of the quality updates for Windows 10. Now, if you're using Windows updates, this servicing stack update will get installed automatically. But don't worry if you don't see it listed in the settings app under the advanced sections where you can view the update history. For whatever reason, it doesn't actually get listed there, but it will be installed if you're using Windows updates. What else can I say about it? So the actual reason for this update is it fixes a problem with secure boot that could allow the BitLocker service to go accidentally into recovery mode. So if you're using BitLocker, this is definitely something that you want to get installed. And as I said, that's available for Windows 7, Windows 8.1, and for Windows 10. The second 0 day this month affects Windows 7, Service Pack 1, and Windows Server 2008 and 2008 R2. It doesn't affect Windows 10. And it's again another escalation of privilege bug, but this time in the Win32k component. And again, it fails to properly handle objects in memory. This could actually allow an attacker to run arbitrary code on your systems and install programs, of course, and change system data with full user rights. But to exploit the system, the attacker would have to be logged in locally. But nevertheless, because it's a 0 day, it's already being exploited out in the wild, so it's recommended that you patch your systems for this as quickly as possible. I think that's pretty much it. There is one issue actually with this update, as I remember. Let me just find the summary. Yeah, there is an issue with the remote access connection manager. It may stop with an error, but it only affects a very small amount of systems. So you have to be using a VPN profile that's configured for always on. And I think there are a couple of other things that your system would have to meet, requirements it would have to meet to actually be affected by this bug. But Microsoft has published a workaround. So this problem will occur after you install the quality update for Windows 10, by the way. So if you think this might be an issue for your systems, it's worth checking out the knowledge base article for the Windows 10 quality update this month, just in case it might cause a problem with your VPN setup. But I think it's going to apply to a relatively small amount of customers. So that's Patch Tuesday. Nothing very exciting to say about it. I don't think there's ever anything very exciting to say about Patch Tuesday, but it's always worth just understanding mainly about what are the 0 days and what problems might occur if you apply these patches. So in this episode, what else do I want to talk about? I want to talk about the desktop analytics service next. This is kind of connected to Windows Update. And it's a new service from Microsoft. It's a cloud-based service that integrates with Configuration Manager. So if you're not using Configuration Manager in your organization, then unfortunately this service is not for you. But if it is, keep listening. So what it does is, probably you're aware that the Windows 10 feature updates, I think already for the last 18 months, maybe even a couple of years, Microsoft has been using machine learning and artificial intelligence to help smooth the rollout process. So what they're actually doing is they're collecting data about devices and trying to predict which devices will have a smooth upgrade to the latest Windows 10 feature update and which devices might have a problem. So this intelligence, if you like, is being used by Microsoft. And now they're making this system available to organizations so that you can integrate it with Configuration Manager and to help you update your devices either from Windows 7 or Windows 8.1 to Windows 10, or to perform Windows 10 to Windows 10 feature upgrades. This isn't really designed for people who want to do a clean install for whatever reason, although some of the information you can glean from it might also be useful for clean installs as well. So Microsoft are hoping that you'll be able to make more informed decisions with this new intelligence service and better assess the update readiness of your existing devices. So what does it do exactly? So the first thing is that it does is create an inventory of all the apps running in your organization and assess their compatibility with the latest Windows 10 feature updates. It will identify any compatibility issues, and you should hopefully receive some mitigation advice. So this data comes not only from what Microsoft is collecting about your organization. So the desktop analytics service collects information about your own organization, and it combines it with all of the information that it collects from millions and millions of other Windows upgrades from other organizations and consumers, of course. All that information and knowledge that Microsoft already has. But the really interesting thing about desktop analytics is that it allows you to create pilot groups that represent the entire application and driver estate, but across a minimal set of devices. So it really helps you to optimize that pilot program so that you can run it on as few devices as possible to minimize the risk, but also make sure that you include all of your applications and all of the drivers that are installed across your estate. I think that's a really amazing feature that definitely IT can make use of. And then finally, it actually helps you to deploy Windows 10, first, of course, to your pilot set of devices, and then to all of your production managed devices once you've decided how you're actually going to roll it out. So, about the pilot identification feature, I'll just tell you a little bit more about that. So it identifies the smallest set of devices that provide the widest coverage of factors. Okay, so that's really important. And it focuses on factors that are important to the upgrade. So it's going to basically help to make sure that your pilot is successful. What do you need to use desktop analytics? Well, first, as I said, unfortunately, this only works with Configuration Manager. So if you're using Windows Update for Business or doing this stuff manually, this isn't going to be for you. In addition to Configuration Manager, you need an Azure subscription. You need to be using Configuration Manager version 1902 with update rollup 4500571 or later installed. Your devices need to be running Windows 7, Windows 8.1 or Windows 10. And some more bad news, I'm afraid, is that you need to have a certain set of licenses in order to be able to use it. So I'll try and make this brief. You need to be using Windows 10 Enterprise E3 or E5, or have a Microsoft 365 subscription, that is F1, so that's the frontline subscription for the frontline workers, or E3 or E5, both enterprise subscriptions. Or you need to have a Windows 10 Education A3 or A5 subscription, or Microsoft 365 A3 or A5, or Windows VDA licenses E3 or E5. Unfortunately, without those licenses, the desktop analytics services isn't going to be available to you. It also doesn't work if you are using the long-term servicing channel. That shouldn't apply to many people who run in Windows 10. In general, you shouldn't be running the long-term servicing channel on your production devices. So I think this is a really exciting service. It's just come into preview now, so it hasn't reached general availability. And I'm hoping to look at this in a bit more detail over the next few months. And maybe I'll come back to it again on this webcast and let you know what I find out about it. But the more help you can get for managing those feature updates in Windows 10, the better, of course, because it's a big pain point for many organizations. Okay, and finally this week, I want to talk a little bit about your phone. Now, your phone has been around in Windows 10, I think, since the Windows 10 October update, where it was first actually included out of the box. And to be honest, when I first looked at it, I was a little bit unimpressed, maybe not unimpressed, uninspired by it. It did exactly what it said on the tin. You could send and receive SMS messages. You could look at a limited number of photos that are recently stored or taken on the device. And that was it. Now, maybe I wasn't very impressed because I'm not a hugely phone-orientated person. So I rarely use my phone to take photographs. I have a camera. I don't really send SMS messages very much. I tend to use messaging services like WhatsApp or Facebook Messenger. And I already have the apps installed on my PC that allow me to do that without picking up my phone. But of course, if you're, somebody who, for whatever reason, sends a lot of SMS messages, then your phone definitely is something that, would be very useful. The whole idea of the Your Phone app is that you can use your PC uninterrupted. You don't need to keep picking up your phone every time you see a notification to check what's going on there to save you some time. But recently, Microsoft updated the Your Phone app with a really interesting feature, notification mirroring. Now, notifications, they're kind of, good and evil at the same time. They can be very useful and they can be very distracting. So quite often if I set up reminders or I have messages, I end up with notifications on my PC, sometimes more than once, then on the phone. And of course I have to do something with them. I have to clear them, I have to read them, and it can be a little bit irritating. And I wasn't sure when I heard about this new feature, do I really want my phone notifications on my PC as well? But I thought, well, okay, I'm going to give it a try. And it is actually really useful because at the end of the day, I have to look at those notifications at some point on the phone, even if most of them actually mirror what I might receive on my PC, or a lot of them do. And so what Your Phone does now, it allows you to see all your notifications. So this is about Android phones, by the way. You have to have Android 7 or later to use the Your Phone app. You can see all of your notifications. You can either dismiss them all in one go, or you can dismiss them individually. And it's really useful. I don't need to keep picking up my phone. Have I got a phone? Have I got a message there that I need to reply to, or some notification from an app that I don't have on my PC, for instance? And you can also get the notifications as, or toast notifications in the Action Center. But what's great about it is it's very configurable. So you can disable notifications in your phone globally if you want. You don't have to enable the feature. You can choose whether or not those notifications will also appear in the Action Center. And you can also choose which applications from the phone will be mirrored to the PC. So that's another great feature. If you know there's particular applications that you don't want mirrored for whatever reason, you can decide to eliminate that. And I think this is great. All of this control over notifications, because as I said, they can be as much as a distraction as they can be something useful. Now, what's even more interesting about this is what's coming. So Microsoft are apparently, I haven't got the latest insider build, so I haven't seen it myself, apparently previewing now an addition to this notification mirroring called notification chasing. So what this will allow you to do is to click on a notification in the Your Phone app, and it will then mirror your phone's screen and open the application. Okay, I assume it takes you to the relevant part of the application. So if you click on a message, I assume it will not just open the application, but actually take you to that particular message. Sounds great. Inline replies. Now, apparently, Microsoft are testing this as well, that in those toast notifications that you get in the Action Center from the Your Phone app, they will be adding inline replies. So if you get a message, you can type in a little box there your reply and press send. Sounds great. What Microsoft aren't saying at the moment is whether these inline replies are only in the toast notifications in the Action Center, or whether we get them in the Your Phone app as well. Again, I don't know, if you're a Windows insider, you might already be able to see that feature and already have that answer. I don't know exactly where these inline replies are going to appear. I hope in the Your Phone app as well. Now, I said about the notification chasing, and I really like the way that Your Phone is developing. It really feels that it's something useful now, whereas before it was a little bit meh. Now it feels like this is something I can definitely use every day. The only downer about the notification chasing is that for the screen sharing to work, you need to be using a particular handset, and Microsoft is only supporting a few high-end handsets at the moment. And your device, your PC, needs to have support for Bluetooth support for the low energy peripheral role. So, go figure. So, unfortunately, I think this screen sharing feature in the Your Phone app is going to be dead on arrival for many people, which is a shame. But nevertheless, I think the addition of notification mirroring, and hopefully soon with inline replies, is going to make Your Phone a really useful tool that can genuinely save you some time. So if you haven't looked at Your Phone at all, or you haven't looked at the latest version, so the version that I'm talking about with the notification mirroring is the latest stable version, and you should be able to get that if you're running Windows 10 1903, so that's the May 2019 update, the latest update. You should have that version of the application. It's really easy. You just pair your phone. You need to be on the same network, of course, and you need to be logged into both devices with the same Microsoft account. And then it's pretty simple procedure just to pair your Android device to the Your Phone app. So go and have a look at that. Okay, so that's it for this week, and I'll be back next week with some more Windows Business Weekly.